Uh, Hello, everyone. A warm welcome to everyone tuning in across LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. I am Atishh Bhalerao. I'm the co-founder and director of Phylpt, and I am thrilled to welcome you today for our flagship edition of Phylpt Live broadcast. Every national anthem played on the international podium starts with a single step on a childhood playground. So today our topic is from the playground to podium, building the next generation of Commonwealth and Olympic champions. Um, since we have just completed our contribution towards Commonwealth game, so we thought that this would be a topic which most of our audience who has joined us live would be interested in knowing. So we are bringing together a phenomenal panel of high performance athletes and sports science experts who live and breathe Indian sports. Um, to welcome first, we have Janani Ananthakumar. She's an international badminton athlete currently with UAE, and she has also been a part of Badminton Association of India. A warm welcome, Janani, to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great. So let's welcome our second guest. We have Sanam Sanjay Rathod. Uh, she has been a national level footballer and currently a certified fitness coach. Sanam, great to have you on the boards.
Thank you so much for having me, sir.
All right. Let's also welcome Naren Shankar Iyer. Naren is a part of the world top 20 badminton players, and he's a two-time national game gold medalist as well. Naren, it's pleasure to have you as one of the panelists.
Thank you so much for having me, Atishh sir. I'm happy to be here.
Great. Let's also welcome Anuveer Bhandari. Anuveer is an elite sports and performance psychologist, and he's also the founder of Mind Games. Anuveer, I'm sure your insights are going to be great for us, for all our viewers listening to us live. A warm welcome to you, Anuveer.
So thank you so much for having me, Atish. It's really a pleasure to share the panel among such amazing athletes and for having this opportunity as well to share a bit about sports and where are we headed. So looking forward to the conversation.
Great. So one update, a quick update for our viewers. Our dear friend and industry leader Rishabh sir, who's the MD of Sporting Ethos, he won't be able to join us live today due to an unexpected personal and professional urgency. But yeah, the show must go on. So we have an incredible lineup ready to share this candid and unscripted and straight from the heart insights on how science, technology, grit can turn raw potential into Olympic gold for India. This is for our viewers who has joined us, who's viewing us live across LinkedIn, YouTube, and Meta. This is supposed to be an interactive session. If you think that you have any certain specific questions for any of our panelists, please go ahead and use the comment, use the live chats, and I'm sure our panelists would love to address that. Uh, so before we begin, guys, there's one small insight which I want to. This is for all our panelists, right? I mean, I was just exploring the performance of India. Let's first talk about the performance of the Commonwealth Games 2026, where you know we gained or we probably had around 39 medals. Okay, we were the overall ranking was fourth. When we talk about the Paris Olympic 2024, uh, the number of sports we represented were 16. Okay, now as athletes, as somebody who is representing India, who has represented India earlier, are you guys, I mean, Janani, I would love to have it from you or hear it from you first, since we are going and following that particular sequence. Are you guys satisfied with this particular performance? I mean, is this a performance which we should celebrate and cherish? Janani, I mean, what would be your thoughts, please?
I think we should celebrate these milestones because it's a huge jump from previous generations wherein this much of recognition was not provided or these many opportunities were not provided to athletes. So I think celebrating these successes will help younger athletes join sports and then grow, have an opportunity to grow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's hear it from Sanam. Sanam, since you have played at the national level, would you think we should celebrate this? And if so, what could be the reason? I mean, since Janani has already given us some insight, but what would be your thoughts on the same?
As Janani said, obviously we need to celebrate the milestones and like every milestone needs to be celebrated in a certain way, whatever the sport it is or anything like that. So yeah.
Hmm. Great. All right. Naren, what would be your thoughts?
Uh, I, of course, agree with both the Sanam and Janani that we really need to
Hmm.
celebrate each medal that we get.
Hmm.
All the athletes put so much blood and tears into playing the sport for so many years, and then getting a medal in Commonwealth or Paris Olympics is a huge deal. But also saying that you should never be satisfied. You should always try to get more. When you see other countries doing better and better, we should
Hmm.
try to get more. But I think when you celebrate these athletes,
Hmm.
I think a lot of younger kids do get into sport, and that helps us get even more medals. So I feel we should celebrate each and every medal that we get. Yeah.
Okay. So we've heard from the athletes saying this. Yes, we should celebrate, and this would encourage the next generation also to work more harder, work on because they are giving their blood and sweat. They are putting so much of efforts and so on. So let's hear it from Anuveer also, who is who's helping the athletes in various ways. So Anuveer, what would be your thoughts on this, please?
So first and foremost, a very terrific question and a very good question, if I may. And I really like the inputs of everyone that mentioned we need to celebrate. And I really like what Naren said. As athletes, we can't just be satisfied with the way we perform, which is very true. So I'm not saying we should celebrate, we shouldn't celebrate. I'm saying we should celebrate our athletes. We should celebrate the way we performed. I'll tell you why. When you look at Commonwealth or Olympic Games, there are approximately 10 to 20 sports if you look at it from that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So this Commonwealth was very special. Why? Because there were 10 sports in total, where our athletes were competing across 10 sports. So if you look at it, immediately half of the sports were cancelled because of logistical issue, because of resource issue. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the contingent size that we had did not just consist of athletes, they were professionals in sports science. You had your other support staff, which was there for the athlete. You had a lot of people apart from the athletes and their actual coaches who were there with them on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So if our athletes actually put up a performance and we ended up coming in fourth in 10 sports, dude, you tell me whether we should celebrate them or not. It's like it's an achievement if you think about it. But at the same time, Indian ecosystem, Indian sports system is just getting started. So this Commonwealth is just the starting point for the 2036 Olympics, for the 2030 Commonwealth Games that we will be hosting over here. So we
Mm-hmm.
are just getting started. So this actually does look like a very amazing start if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Great.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I to a larger extent, I agree to to both sides of the panels. Okay, yes, we should celebrate because it is an achievement. But if you ask, is this 100% potential or of our capabilities what we have delivered? No. I mean, we as a country are capable of delivering more. Um, participating more in more sports. And yes, to a larger extent, we are going towards that particular infrastructure where we would see, forget about ranking, right? I mean, we are not worried about what rank we come, where do we rank, and so on. As of now, it's more about participating more and more, representing more and more. On that note, we have also got one uh, uh, probably comment on LinkedIn, but we will address Jane Bakina has one comment, but Jane, please stay back. We will definitely like to address your question, your queries through our panelists. But Janani, I'm going to come to you since you are competing currently at a UAE national team from badminton, and then you've also been into Badminton Association of India. Janani, I would like to understand is, I'm sure this would be something which everybody from the audience would like to know. How do the early stage training environment compare, and what key grassroots elements must India standardize to for this podium finishes? I mean, since you are represented India as well as now you are at UAE. So can you see a difference there, from infrastructure wise, from other aspect wise, which you'd like to highlight, which would help everybody from the audience to cope up and to work on?
Okay, so because I come from India, I understand that from both sides, like from India and UAE, I've seen it live, and I believe that India has a better, how do I say, graph, as in that we start training a little earlier. Athletes
Mhm.
start in getting into their sports much earlier than athletes in UAE.
Mhm.
But in UAE, the kind of facilities that are provided are very, very, very different from India. And it's a lot of world class facilities are provided to us, and we have a lot more opportunities. We have sponsors coming our way. So I think basically the Indians, athletes, they start very, very young from India. But in UAE, we get a lot. Infrastructure is much better. We get a lot of sports science involved. We have like sir said, Anuveer sir said, he is a psychologist, so we have psychology, which we don't get provided at very.
Okay. So, Janani, I guess there is some network glitch from your end, so you can fix that since we come back to you. So thank you so much for sharing this core difference. Coming to you, Sanam, since you have played 6 national level football tournament, I mean, you've been a part of IWL, Indian Women's League, and state leagues. So wanted to understand, I mean, Janani was also saying that, we start early, right? We in India, we are starting early by any means of sport. So how crucial are those core stability and endurance for children's right from an age of 5 to 12, which should help us create those pool of future athletes? How important is that, Sanam, from your end?
So if you see the football sport as a sport, it's a very contact sport, very aggressive sport.
Mhm.
And like in football, a lot of sudden tackles come, change of direction movements, suddenly pushing movements, jumping movements, landing movements. So because of that, you need to have a very good core stability at a very young age. And if a child
Mhm.
between 5 to 12 years has a good core stability, later on in where the child starts growing, the person will not won't have a lot of joint issues or compensation movements, and obviously
Mhm.
fewer injuries. As
Mhm.
being a RWL player, the people with good core stability also have seen the people with lesser injuries.
Mhm.
So yeah, so obviously core stability and endurance plays a very big important role. The child starts at a very early age.
Absolutely. So, Naren, I'm going to put this question to you to understand more from your end, sharing your real-time experience. First, we would like to understand that you as an athlete, when did you started, and what would be your advice to everybody who's listening to us live, uh, of getting the intervention for the kids, who can be the future potential of, who will represent us in the next Olympics or so. um, do you think the age of 3, where other countries, like if you see Ireland and Netherlands and so on, they start right from the age of 3, right? 3, 5 or something like that. So do you think that should be a specific age to start, Naren?
Um, I think it's different for each sport. Uh, I know Kobe Bryant has told that he started playing at the age of 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So what he tells is, I used to dribble the ball before I could even walk. So I know there are few people who have done it at such young ages, but I don't think it is practical for everyone to start at
Mm-hmm.
such a young age. Uh, and also to start some sport professionally or giving your whole time to it. I don't think that's really helpful. In my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
I feel you should put your kid into sport at a young age, probably 6, 5, 6, 7. But
Mm-hmm.
they should play whatever they like. They can play a lot of sports. So when I was young, I used to play a lot of sports. I started playing badminton when I was 8, but I just used to go to a court and then just play there with 15 other kids on one court.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started playing well, and I won my first state tournament, under 10 tournament. And then my
Wow.
coach
Mm-hmm.
told me to maybe put me in a better facility and then start training for badminton. But even then, I was training like a session in the morning and then go to school in the evening. I go play cricket or football or something like that. So of course, kids should start early, and but I still feel passion and the joy for the sport is very important. Only then you can sustain that over the later stages of your life. So there will be a few kids who are born for that sport, who want to do that sport their entire life, like Kobe Bryant and all those guys. But for the rest of us, we should find our passion. So I feel you should play a lot of sport when you're small, and then you choose the right one. So you need to have a team, you need to have your parents, you need to have few people behind you to talent scout. So I think you also are doing that. You are into talent scouting. So people like you are required to find what kind of sport I would be very good at. Also, uh, asking me about whether I would like to play the sport. So it's a long process, right? So yeah. So from the kid's perspective, I would like the kid to play a lot of sport at the earliest age possible. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but from the talent scouting part of it, I think in badminton it's far better right now, but it still can improve.
Mm-hmm.
Where you can find the right talent and you can nurture them from an early age.
Okay.
So I would put this on the talent scouters rather than the kids, on the parents, on the talent scouter, that you find the kid who's doing really well. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's very rightly put it across. I mean, your passion, the speed endurance is one aspect. The passion also makes a huge difference. But then, as a kid, you not even understand what your passion is all about, right? So that they're the talent scouting team. Your parents play very, very, very important role, and I'm sure your parent Naren, Janani, then Sanam have encouraged, and that's where you guys have reached to this particular level. So this is one very important aspect for the parents who are listening to us, that yes, our kids will not be able to understand what their passion is, but then you'll have to encourage, you'll have to put in extra efforts to understand, scout that particular talent, let them play as many sport as they can, see how they are doing it, and then we have a lot of infrastructure nowadays to understand and identify that which sport your kid is more proficient towards, and then we can take that to the next level. So Anveer, I'm going to stick to the same question, but I'm going to add one more there. Okay, we are talking about early intervention, right? Early intervention as early as we're saying in the other countries like the Scotlands and the Netherlands of this world, they start very early. Naren gave us some few examples of the same. But apart from what age should we start, um, Anuveer, you being being focusedly, I mean, you have a heavy focus on athlete transition and pressure management. What age should we identify? For one part of that question is this, and second is uh, what age should sports psychology concept also be introduced at the same time? Because see, when we talk about psychology, specifically in country like India, अगर कोई psychology की बात करेगा तो बोलेगा तू पागल है क्या? Psychology मतलब is my kid mad? Is this why do you need a psychologist for my kid? I mean, don't take me wrong. I mean, this is how it is. I have an 8 years old daughter. I mean, if you ask me, okay, take her to a sports psychologist, I would be like, is there something wrong with her thought process? This is the first thought comes to your mind, right? And country like us, we are known for all this, right? So we are known to do much louder things. So one, what age should we start? And second is uh, how the sports psychological concept should be introduced.
So really terrific question. I really like what each of all had to mention. So
Yeah.
when you mentioned something about sports psychology being something for "tu pagal hai," I'll tell you a story. So I'm currently working with the Delhi rugby team as well, and they were going for nationals. Okay. And I had a chat with them right before the tournament in a train compartment, not
Mm-hmm.
at a pitch, not at a clinic, in a train compartment where all of my players were sitting along with the coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the head coach came up to me and asked me, "Sir, आप physio हो?" मैंने कहा नहीं, मैं psycho हूँ. ठीक है. I
Yeah.
point blank said कि मैं psycho हूँ. So he asked me कि आप बावड़े हो? So he
Yeah.
point blank asked me, okay, that like I mean that was his reaction. So that is when I realized the perception of what we have as a country when it comes to mental health support in sports. But at the same time, until and I'm not saying that sports psychology is completely absent in India. It is there, hey, but rather than as an additional support, it is more like treated as a damage control.
Yeah.
अगर मेरा प्लेयर इज बियॉन्ड डैमेज कि सर मेरी बात नहीं सुन रहा, सर इसका सर ये हो रहा है, सर ही इज नॉट एबल टू सर्व ड्यूरिंग ड्यूस पॉइंट्स फॉर एग्जांपल. ठीक है. सर सर वी फील कि ड्यूरिंग द फर्स्ट सेट ही हैड अ लीड and when the lead was managed by the opponent, sir, I think sir something happened to my player. At the same time, I need to help them understand that it is not about him not able to hit a serve or him not able to hit a forehand or him not able to hit a smash. You know it better than anyone, but is it that do you know what to do at that point in time? Yeah. And when it comes to sports psychology among youngsters, I can't teach a 6-year-old or a 5-year-old कि भाई तेरे को anxiety है, you need sessions from me. I can't do that because that's not how it works. When it comes to youngsters in the circuit, say 5-year-old, 6-year-old, at that time, what what the most important aspect is their relationship with their sport. ठीक है. कि अगर एक 5-6 साल का बच्चा रोज आ रहा है खेलने के लिए, क्या उसको पिच पे मजा आ रहा ही नहीं आ रहा? Is he coming every day? Is he coming every day? Is he having a chat with the coach कि सर मैंने आज स्कूल में ये किया, सर मैंने आज खाने में ये खाया?
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point people don't realize कि 5-6-year-old 7-year-old is that stage, as Naren rightly mentioned, कि they need to play every damn sport there is. जितना है सब खेलो, खेलते रहो बस, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. And at the same time, we as a country, we fail specifically at transition. You rightly mentioned why. Because our country focuses on juniors more. If you think about it, जूनियर में अगर बच्चा रिजल्ट दे रहा है, दैट गारंटीज कि ये बच्चा सीनियर में भी रिजल्ट देगा.
Serious में देगा.
ठीक है.
Hmm.
if I give an example of football, for example, Sanam might agree with me on this. अगर इंडियन टीम के ट्रायल्स हो रहे हैं, दो बच्चे हैं अंडर 14 के, one kid one kid has peaked maturely before he turned 14. When I say peak maturely, I mean he has achieved his height, he has achieved his strength, he has achieved everything. ठीक है, but मेरा जो second player है, he is more technically sound, but since he hasn't achieved his peak physique or peak maturity yet, he is disbarred by the system कि मेरे को ये player नहीं चाहिए, मेरे को पहला वाला player चाहिए. ठीक है. Now all the SNCs, the coach, all the specialists will be focusing on the first player. Second player को किसी ने पूछा भी नहीं. I don't care about the second player. ठीक है. Everyone is focusing on that first player, जिसके चक्कर में my under 14 player will be competing in under 14, under 17, under 19, under 23, and men's team. And by the time they reach under 23 or men's, they are exhausted. They are overtired. उनमें they don't have the capacity physically or mentally to play just another game. Why? Because क्योंकि मैं वो बहुत टाइम से पहले से करी जा रहा हूँ. And then we as spectators, we comment from the outside कि भाई, why can't we produce some good players? Why do we have to go Sunil Chhetri to play another national game? We don't lack a talent problem. When someone asks me why doesn't India is winning in football and badminton or whatever, we are doing terrific in badminton because majority of the players who are competing in badminton, they have played other sports and then they came to badminton. Majority of the players. Football is a sport where the kid is in the sport from a very long time. जब तक सीनियर में मेरा प्लेयर आता है, वो इतना थक चुका होता है mentally, physically कि he can't play another game. He just can't. So if at all, as a system, as a country, and as people in sports, we could have focused on the second player, जिसमें technical capability ज़्यादा है. It's just that we had to wait for him कि ये 2-3 साल बाद फटेगा, और जब फटेगा तब फटेगा. So, and this is not just football. This is every sport.
Yeah.
Early specialization is what we are focusing on as a country. ठीक है. If we are focusing more on long-term success, which is not on early specialization at all, things might change. Till the time we are only focusing on short-term results, junior results में, कि under 14 में, because if you notice, if I look at football, under 14 में, under 17 में, our team plays amazing. We have won SAF multiple times. But अगर junior में we are giving results in SAF and AFC, senior में क्या हो रहा है? Why do we have to keep complaining? कि मैनेजमेंट की दिक्कत है, कि वो दिक्कत है, कि ये दिक्कत है, कि वो दिक्कत है. दिक्कत आ रही है स्ट्रक्चर में, रिटेंशन में. बच्चे रिटेन नहीं कर पा रहे हम फुटबॉल में जो लंबा खेले. So the conversation has never been about winning medals. It's about, can I stick in the sport long enough to see myself going professional at some point in time. That's how it should be, and that's how it is really, if you think about it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I completely agree. I'm able to sync this thoughts also. I'm sure our audience, somebody from our audience is also agreeing to the same. So we have Shubhra Prakash Das, and he said that he completely agrees to what Anuveer has shared and the other panelists have shared. And Shubhra Prakash also have some questions which are there. He is raised. But before that, we're going to take one question from the audience, which is from Jane Bakina. So the first thing what she's mentioned is, guys, feel free to speak. You can think of it and then say that, okay, you want to answer it. The question is, new generation has another passwords for communication. The keystone of new level, the correct selection of those who can be high level athletes, and then the correct communication and atmosphere. I'm not sure whether this is a statement which you are passing or she's asking a question, but to a larger extent what she's saying is agreeing. Jane, you can use the comment and ask us more relevant questions towards the same, but we're going to take the next question or a feedback from Shubhra Prakash Das. Shubhra Prakash Das has to say that in India, if we want to get more sports exposure and medal tally, we could create a nationwide standard performance benchmark, or else we will be evaluating with athletes and other demographics, implement proper LTAD, which is long-term athletic development program. Before that, parent coach education program is needed. How much do you guys agree to this, Janani, Sanam, Naren, Anuveer? What Shubhra Prakash is saying? Do we agree to this? Janani, what's your thoughts?
I'm sorry, I didn't get exactly what his question.
So it's not a question. He's passing a statement. He's saying that if in India, if we want to get more sports exposure and medal tally, we should create a nationwide standard performance benchmark. Or else, what will happen is we will evaluate with athletes and other demographics, implementing a proper long-term athletic development program, LTAD. Before that, parent coach education program is needed. So he's saying we should introduce LTAD at that parent level coach education programs, and then we should create that nationwide standard performance benchmarking. Do you think this should work to create the pool of future athletes? What should the
I can comment on a parent coach thing that he spoke about. I think it's very important because I think like Anuveer sir said, as young people, we just want to play. We just be doing something physical. We don't want to be thinking about we want to win this, we want to do this. No, we just want to be playing something. So at that stage, I think parents and coaches try to put a lot of pressure on, saying that yeah, you need to win this medal, you need to do this better, you need to do that better, instead of
Mhm.
supporting us that yeah, why don't you just go play the game, instead of just saying that. So I completely agree that parent coach training is very important, and parents at that coaches should not be putting a lot of pressure at a very young stage, because we're still figuring out and we just have this passion of doing some kind of physical activity.
Mhm. Okay, great. So, Sanam, what I would like to understand from you is, first is how important would be LTAD, I mean, long-term athletic development program. That is one aspect. Okay. And how crucial are the, when we were talking about, we spoke about, you have already spoken about the endurance part, and the stability part. But uh, one is how important from your perspective is long-term athletic development program, how India should adopt it, parents should adopt it, coaches should adopt it, and how do you address the screen time stamina drain also, which is one of the biggest challenge, from the kids perspective, right? Everybody will see, forget about kids, we all of us, I'm sure athletes are not, right? I mean, I've seen athletes growing, but they have very specific time towards how much they spend on screen and so on. So how do they address the screen time stamina drain also in today's youth? So one, LTAD. Second, how do we address the screen time stamina drain?
So
Sanam.
first, I'll answer the second part of the question, as you said, how the screen time drains basically. So in today's world, basically, if a child is using a lot of screen time, the person is going for a lot of sedentary lifestyle. Because of that, if you talk about the scientific language, a lot of posterior
Mhm.
muscle weakness of core stabilizers and everything. But in today's world, also when the child is using like a gaming for 2, 3 hours, how the time goes, the person doesn't even realize. So
Mhm.
that time, the how the parents can deal with it basically by adding a lot of multiplanar movements, lot of movements which are enjoyable for them, lot of team sports, and basically indulging a lot of static movements into a lot of dynamic movements. And also, I believe the person like today's world, the parent can't completely remove the screen time, because in today's world, screen time is also important to for a lot of watching videos or certain. Nowadays, studies also happen in screen only at times, online things and everything. So the person can't
Mhm.
remove the screen time completely.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Okay. And how about the importance of LTAD? I mean, the long-term athletic development program implementation. how should India adopt this?
So, seeing today in India, a lot of things are coming up. Like as Anuveer sir also said, so first पहले कुछ sports science करके कुछ था नहीं, but अभी a lot of things are coming up in science. Sports science is upgrading. A lot of now पहले किसको पता भी नहीं था. Many things didn't know, like what is SNC, what is sports psychology also, as he said, look, people don't know about it, but things are still are coming up. And so in today's world, a lot of education is also important for long-term athletic program. And also at the same time, as Janani said about the, what do you say, what did she say about the communication of the
Communication.
parents and coaches? A lot of education is also important for them, because at times what happens are, at times I also see in my sport, a lot of there are parents from standing from the out, इतना कैसा खेल रहा है रे, तू कैसा खेल रहा है, they start abusing and all. Because
Yeah.
of that, the child is going, a player is going under a lot of pressure, and because even when in practice the person is able to perform, but in
Yeah.
practice and during the match day, the person is not able to perform due to
Mhm.
coaches, what do you say, pressure, or parents pressure. So yeah, that education is also important.
Absolutely. So Naren, I'm going to come to you. One, we will stick to LTAD. Okay. How important or how should we adopt long-term athletic development program from school levels, from parents levels, from coaches level across the country? Forget about the country. We'll not restrict this conversation only with India. I mean, this is important for everybody, right? Every country. That is one. Second, Naren, we would also like to understand one very important thing. I mean, since you won gold at both 37th and 38th national games for Team Karnataka, what physical baseline separation a state level performer from an international podium finishers? I mean, what are those physical baseline separations for that state level? Because if you want to create the future athletes, how this particular insight from you would play a very important role. So Naren, how do we adopt LTAD and
Yeah.
what physical baseline separations?
Yeah, so first of all, LTAD, I think, in as far as I know, in badminton, SNC and SNC, physiotherapy, sports science, all these things, nutrition, have all come a long way right now. Uh, the problem right now is very few players get an access to this. So
Mm-hmm.
in badminton, specifically speaking, there are only few academies which are funded by corporates or foundations, and only those academies can afford to keep one or two physiotherapists, a strength and conditioning coach, a nutritionist, a sports science person. Uh, so so what I feel that is lacking in India, and why we are not able to bring up more players in badminton especially, is because the number of people who get access to this is very less. So if you see, probably in India there are like 20 to 30 players, men and women, totally, who get access to this. And if you want, and those 30 players are probably inside the top 100 in the world.
Yeah.
But if you want them to get into the top 20, top 15, so in Olympics, if you want a player to play in Olympics, you need them to be the top 16 in the world. So if you need uh, a player to get into the top 16 in the world, and if he's out, so if you take Lakshya Sen or Ayush Shetty, who are right now dominating
Yeah.
in the men's singles circuit, they are
Mm-hmm.
around the top 20s, and they have literally every facility that they need. Okay, but if one of them gets injured,
Yeah.
the next person to replace them is not there.
Not there.
But whereas if you see China, or if you see Indonesia, if you see Denmark, all those countries have so many players into the top 50s in the world, top 70s in the world, that if 2 3 players are injured, you can put these players into the top. They're ready to replace these people. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because if Indians, there are 20 people who are getting access to this long-term athlete
Mm-hmm.
development. There are probably 200 players who are getting access to it in China or Indonesia. So
Yeah.
I kind of feel right now the problem is with the number of people that are being trained at that level, who have. So even now that I'm at a facility, uh, we lack a physiotherapist, we don't have a nutritionist. So what I will be forced to do is go outside and then spend
Outside.
on my
Yeah.
own. And then and if we aren't able to spend after a certain point of time, we won't be able to spend so much on that, right? So then we end up compromising on our performance.
Performance. Absolutely
Yeah,
agree.
so that is what is happening right now. Funding is the main thing. If you want more athletes to win at the topmost level, if you want 100 athletes to win at the topmost level, you need to fund 10,000 athletes, and
1,000.
only then
Yes.
you will get 100 athletes to win. But if you're not ready to put that money and invest in those athletes, then you can't ask that question. So
Absolutely.
that is what I feel is going on. And Shubhra Prakash Das's question on should we create a national wise standard performance benchmark, I kind of feel it's already there.
Yeah.
That is not the issue here. In badminton, there are 3 4 national tournaments. There is a
For the
national
tournaments.
championship where a national champion is named for the entire year.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of international tournaments where there are 7 levels of international tournaments. When you win the lowest level, you can go to the next level, and when you win that, you can go to the next level. So all the benchmarks are there, but only thing that is uh, required is sponsorship.
Sponsorship.
And
Understand. I'm
coming
going
to
to
your
come to
yeah.
that. Yes, Naren, I'm going to come to that specifically when it comes to Janani and you. Okay, we are going to be addressing that using our forum on specifically on that. Um, Anuveer, I'm going to come to you and taking the same question because long-term athletic development program makes a huge impact on a larger scale. Okay, this is important not just for our country, but then this is for other countries also. But I'm going to add one more very important aspect, Anuveer, for you is see the high parent expectations are also there on young athletes. Okay, does this impact is there a or how do the high parent expectation affect the athletics core development? One part of the question is that. And what are your thoughts on implementing LTAD, long-term athletic development program? Because if you see right now in schools, what is happening is we have a PT program, we have a PT class, right? And in PT, what we do you make a hand straight, right, left, center, and then they will put that bend baja and they say that okay, do a mask karo and all that stuff. I mean, don't take me wrong, but then what are you guys doing? And you take a picture and put it on social media and saying we did this. That's not what we want. That's not physical attributes. That's not physical literacy, right? Even our national education policy says boss physical literacy is way different, guys. Please wake up. But yeah, school takes bonkers of school fees nowadays. But when it comes to physical literacy, I mean, there's absolutely zero knowledge. I mean, so how do we adopt? I may sound very rude right now or very direct and very excited also, but yeah, that's what I'm facing as a parent as well. So how do we implement LTAD on a national and a global stage? How do we adopt it? And one very important thing because uh, does the high parent expectation also affects the young athletes core development? Anuveer, we would like to understand that from you.
So am I audible? Perfect.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um, perfect. So I believe the questions were in sub parts as well. So I'll answer one thing at a time. Yeah.
Sure.
So first thing you mentioned something about parental expectations in sports, right?
Yeah.
So so according to me and based on my interactions with the athletes, parents, and coaches, one thing I wanted to share is parents are the first ever psychologists to any of their athletes and their kid.
Yeah.
ठीक है? Whether it's sports, whether it's non-sports, whether it's any other domain, how parents' expectations or their parenting or their upbringing or whatever you want to call it is done with the kid, that is going to impact their relationship with everything around them, including sport. In most cases, specifically when I talk about or when we understand key parental involvement in sport and why doesn't it work or why does it work, one of the things that I have personally seen is that majority of the cases, parents are the ones जिसके चक्कर में बच्चा स्पोर्ट्स में आगे जाता है कि नहीं जाता. A huge chunk is related to the parenting skills as well, related to parents. ठीक है. I'll tell you an example. For example, this happens across multiple sports, and my athletes on the panel, please tell me if I'm right or wrong. It doesn't necessarily has to be with you, but you may have seen this happen. One player, approximately around age 10 or 12, is playing badminton, ठीक है, and is playing exceptionally for his or her age. And seeing this, parents are being like कि मैं इसको player बनाऊंगा, ठीक है. तो उसके चक्कर में वो पेरेंट्स पुल देयर किड्स आउट ऑफ द स्कूल कि नाउ यू प्ले बैडमिंटन फुल टाइम, ठीक है. अब एट दिस केस द पेरेंट्स कम अप टू मी एंड टेल मी कि सर पहले सर अच्छा खेलती थी व्हेन शी वाज इन स्कूल, बट नाउ व्हेन आई हैव पुट हर इन a full-time badminton academy, her performance has dropped.
Drop down. Yeah.
So my question to them was, यार आप तो यार बड़े smart हो. You have identified कि when did the performance started dropping and when did it actually escalate. So what's the problem? अब what happens is that कि when parents become too involved ना, when they are the coaches themselves, कि सर I saw Victor X Helson training like this, sir I saw Lakshya Sen training like this, सर आप इसको ये training कराओ. Sir, is the kid physically, mentally capable enough to do a drill if he's not able to do basic physical capabilities जो उसकी age को करना चाहिए? Not being rude, not demeaning anything, but that's how reality is. Parents जिन लोगों ने कभी sport नहीं खेला, they are the ones becoming a coach.
Coach. Yeah.
ठीक है? वो कोच को जाके ट्रेनिंग देंगे कि भाई ये तू गलत करा रहा है, ये देख. I've seen this happen so many times, so many times. So in that case, I have to put a fear of God in them. Ki, dude, you are trusting the coach. ठीक है? The hardest part about you trusting a coach is that not being a coach yourself.
Self. Mm.
That is the hardest part. People don't realize how hard it actually is. Ki, the parents or anyone else might be watching it from distance from outside.
Mhm.
It seems very easy ki, bhai, how could you miss this? How could you not miss that? But at the same time, when you're on the pitch, when you're on the court, when you're on the ground, you go blank, which a lot of people won't understand. It seems very easy to give advice. It seems very easy to give gyan ki, bhai, how could you miss that shot?
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is so much going on in our minds, in our athletes' minds, ki, how should I play next? What will happen now? I need to serve. इतना कुछ चल रहा होता है कि we don't understand कि what all to focus on. In a team sport like football, my job is not just to do my job. My job is also worry about कि भाई क्या मेरा center back अच्छा काम करेगा नहीं करेगा? क्या मेरा midfielder आगे ball देगा नहीं देगा? Will my keeper be able to save during set pieces? It's it's very hard to comment from a couch or it's very hard to comment बाहर से कि भाई कीपर के हाथ से बॉल फिसल गई तो गोल हो गया. He missed a smash. Why? Because he wasn't playing how he should be playing. Dude, my athletes are training ready 6 hours a day. Are you in the right position to comment anything about their performance?
Yeah.
Parents just need to be a little mindful कि it is not how it always seems to be.
Yeah.
Parent का main job is to make sure कि my player, मेरा बच्चा is physically, mentally healthy or not. ठीक है.
Absolutely.
Going professional, not going professional is a part of the process. It is not the end goal. हमें बचपन से बताया गया है कि अगर तू कोई स्पोर्ट खेल रहा है, you have to go professional in that, or otherwise your all training is of no use. That's what we
Absolutely.
all have been taught, which is why juniors may the transition period between junior to senior has the maximum drop rate among athletes because result नहीं आ रहा. आप कोई भी स्पोर्ट पकड़ लो, be it football, be it badminton, being an athlete is the hardest job. Why? Because there is no guarantee कि आपकी peak कब आएगी
Yeah.
या कभी आएगी भी कि नहीं आएगी. You are training bloody 10, 12 years of your life. Half of your life has been on the court. The second half has been on your home sleeping. The second part will be on the bloody physio room because you're injured half of the time, right? People don't like we don't think that. We don't think like that. So हमारा like as parents, the job is to ensure कि तू बस खेलता रहे. Results आना ना आना, that's a different ball game altogether. अगर मेरा बच्चा स्पोर्ट में रहेगा ही नहीं तो रिजल्ट कहाँ से आएगा? There is no point of being professional if there is no one to play sport to reach that professional stage yet. And coming to the second part, which is LTAD, majority of people across, we think that LTAD has always need to be across sports. That is very true. But most people are missing the core point, that is athlete outside of their sport. ठीक है. अब in this case, I am a sole advocate for athletes always need to balance education and their sporting pursuits. The saddest part about our country is that our schooling system, our education system is not created to support an athlete. That is very true. That's a fact. I spent some time in a university, in Delhi University specifically, और अगर मैं स्पोर्ट्स कोटे में जा रहा हूँ, then the teacher would be upfront about it कि भाई तुम्हें खेलना है खेल, तेरे को मैं attendance नहीं दूंगी.
Hmm.
ठीक है. So do you think that is the right way to to take care of a situation like this? When I say LTAD is all about making sure that my athlete is not just physically, mentally fit. They are holistically fit so that they can take care of themselves the moment outside of the pitch as well.
Absolutely.
ठीक है. So in that case, the education comes into play. Like I've seen a lot of articles, I have spoken to a lot of people who are like कि सर ये Olympian है सर, इसने compete किया था, he has a medal, but after Olympics, no one asked him. He doesn't have a basic job,
Yeah.
and people don't know the backstory. क्या बंदा पढ़ा लिखा है to be able to qualify for a basic government job? If at all your sole glory is gonna be just on an Olympic medal,
Hmm.
I totally respect that. But at the same time, dude, life बहुत बड़ी है. You have to be skilled enough to take care of yourself outside of your pitch, outside of your court as well, because that development, that is the actual long-term athlete development. That you spend good enough time outside of the pitch, that skill development helps you on the pitch as well.
Absolutely.
So मेरा काम बस athlete तैयार करना नहीं. I need to make sure that they are well equipped and well aware enough to understand themselves. Once they understand themselves, they are ideal.
On their own.
They are ideal
Absolutely.
on their own.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm completely in sync with your thought process, Anuveer, and yes, I'm able to relate also. With due respect and consideration of the time frame, we are going to be concluding with taking the thought from everybody, which also includes one small question there. First of all, Sunil Pushottam, I mean, one of our directors, he said it's very accurate what Anuveer said. So thank you so much, Sunil sir, for that. So Janani, I would like to understand from you is one, how important, I'm sure Naren and Janani, you are at that particular phase. How important is sponsorship, okay, for a athlete to proceed or move further in their careers, right? Using this forum, I would like you to use this forum and share us your request towards that particular sponsorship, because I am a firm believer that everybody from the corporate fraternity um, and various other bodies should come forward to sponsor individual athletes who are doing well or who are at least doing something, irrespective of whatever they have achieved in their careers. Okay, I am a very strong and a firm believer of that. Okay, so Janani, what we would like to understand is importance of sponsorship. Where are you on this particular stage? What kind of appeal or what kind of request you would have for the audience who's listening to us? And also one small important thing, Janani, which is very important for that. Why or is it a dual career development essential for modern athletes in today's world? Should they also opt for a dual career development essentials? And the importance of sponsorship and your face, please. Yeah, Janani, over to you.
So I was very grateful to have sponsored by Rathod Foundation in Bangalore for an entire year. So I was very grateful to get that opportunity. It helped me a lot. And like Naren rightly said, we not get, firstly, I think, not to sound rude, I think a lot of the audience is so focused on cricket that other sports are getting not getting the recognition that they deserve. It's not that I'm belittling a particular sport. It's just that the audience just automatically shows an interest for cricket, but there are so many other sports that are developing and have that kind of a growth opportunity that people don't recognize. So there itself, a lot of athletes get degraded, saying that it's anyway not going to happen. Then what's the point of me putting the effort?
Yeah.
Anyway, all the sponsorships go to cricket. So what's the point of me being or playing this particular sport? Yeah. And with respect to I'm sorry, I lost the other question.
The current state of yours in terms of where do you stand right now? Would you like to take this forum in terms of requesting for any kind of sponsorship, what you are looking for? Because we are going to be using this forum. This forum is not just educating or creating an awareness, but also helping our athletes to move further, right? So you can use this forum to make an appeal or request in terms of what kind of sponsorship would you be looking for? Yeah.
Okay. So I can come in trying to tell what achievements I've done. So I've recently become the top now 88 in the world in doubles. So with the correct, I was part of the Olympic pathway in UAE. So from there, we get a lot of help in respect to accommodation and flight ticket. But I would like to reach out to sponsors if they can help me with, kitting and also as athletes we don't get paid for our job, or like how cricket or maybe other sports get paid for doing their job, we don't get. And in the long term it kind of, we get a little bit depressed, like, okay, after doing so much we still don't have anything to earn. So that can also help out there.
Okay, great. So yes, thanks Janani for this. Sanam, what we would like to understand from you is, see, how do we change or what needs to be changed at India's grassroots sports ecosystem to encourage long-term participation, specifically from young female athletes? We've understood that, okay, cricket is at par. Women's cricket has become at par with men's cricket. The pay structure is good, but again, why only cricket? Yeah, come on, there are so many other sports. So how what somebody who is represented at the national level, in short, what or how would we encourage that more? What kind of changes you would like to implement or for a long-term participation amongst young female athletes, please? Sanam.
So basically, we need a lot of structured pathway from school level only, so that they can get opportunities from like big level, club levels. I'm talking basically about football. So basically, at adolescence, only a lot of females drop out because of many factors. You can say encouragement, motivation, lack of safety concerns, lack of what do you say, parents, also
Mm-hmm.
family expectations, family pressure, and a lot of biomechanical issues. As females are more
Yeah.
prone to injuries compared to males because of the biological structures as well.
Yeah.
If a player gets injured, तो obviously their parents like क्या होएगा खेल के पैर तो तोड़ दिया तूने भाई.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that also a lot of females drop. Like ACL is a very common injury in a lot of football players, female football players, and obviously a lot of lack of nutrition, because if you see football is a lot of developed in district level also, a lot of district level also do to play, but obviously because lack of awareness, lack of media coverage, as Janani said, obviously cricket is only given the media coverage. So because of that, the players, there are very talented players in India in district level also, but obviously are not able to come up because very early marriages, obviously she's a girl, शादी करना ही है उसको, because of that also factors is there. So yeah, so obviously you can get a lot of lot of structure plan while implementing a lot of good female coaches for safety, because some parents are considered like female, she's a
Yeah.
female.
Yeah.
You should not be training under a male coaches because of a lot of other factors. If you say I won't
Yeah.
get into that factors, but yeah, there's a lot of SNC, a lot of knowledgeable SNC coaches, a lot of nutritions, as well as obviously the main factor I would say always supporting parents who actually always supporting them by not putting them under mental pressure.
Mm.
And by that, because of like because implementing all this, they are not only creating a strong female, for the sport, but also for the life, strong,
Life.
confident. Yeah. So that way,
Yeah.
yeah.
Great. Great. So Naren, coming to you, what I would like to understand from you is again, first is why sponsorship is important, why everybody who's listening to us needs to step forward to help athletes like you, you know, to provide sponsorship on individual basis or even at a community basis. Okay, that's one important thing which you would like to understand, Naren, quickly from you, since we have already crossed around 2 minutes from the designated time. Yes, Naren.
So yes, sir. It would come back to the question that I answered last time. If you really
Yeah.
need a lot of players to get into the top and win medals for the country, you need to be sponsoring a lot more players. And
Mhm.
right now in badminton in India, it's still only the few at the top are getting sponsored, and
Mhm.
even then some of the players who have reached the top, who have won some of the national medals, are still not getting sponsored. And badminton is a sport where you need to play a lot more tournaments in order to go higher above in the ranking. So you play a lower level and then lower level tournament, international tournaments. So all I'm talking
Mhm.
about, all are international tournaments. So you keep playing more and more tournaments. You build up your ranking. You build up the points that you have by playing all these tournaments, and then you go higher up. So to play these tournaments, you obviously need funds, and to get to the top, you need to play these tournaments. So so if you can sponsor more athletes to play more tournaments, it'll really bring more players into the top, which can lead uh, one or two of the players to get the medal. So yeah, it's a long process. Just like Janani rightly told, if there is no recognition at the start itself, I think corporates are not ready to fund, I guess. But in cricket, it's still, even when you play the regional tournaments, there is a lot of coverage, media coverage, and visibility
Yeah.
to the lower level cricketers too. But in badminton, it is a little lower, and I mean, I think in all the sport it's a little lower. But what they should remember is it's a long-term process. Maybe over the course of a few years' time, we can reach the top level, and after that, it's a very big visibility now. Like if you reach the level of Lakshya Sen and Sindhu and Saina, they're doing really good. So so yeah.
Great. Great. Anuveer, as we have already crossed around 4 minutes from our destination designated time, I would quickly like to understand from you what one thing you would like to tell a parent who's listening, a coach who is listening, the school authorities who is listening, they should do for their kids, so that their kids could not just represent their gullies, mohallas, cities, state, but also the country on a larger scale? That two things which um, you would like to advise, please.
So, not a lot, just a very simple statement I usually tell the parents or the institution that I work with कि भाई खेलो और खेलने दो.
Absolutely.
That's it. Nothing else. No, like no compulsion of results. Ki if you're playing a sport, then like this results by this time. You have invested this much. भाई बस खेलो और खेलने दो. बाकी जो होगा देखा जाएगा. कोई दिक्कत नहीं. Just play and let them play. That's all.
Absolutely. On that notes, we bring to the end of the Flip Live broadcast session. But yes, it has been an amazing conversation. I totally loved it. Uh, Thank you so much again, Janani, for being there. Sanam, Naren, Anuveer, you guys have been amazing. I had an amazing conversation there. Before we conclude, I would also like to make this announcement that, guys, we have been talking about long-term athletic development program. We have been talking about early talent detection and so on. We as Flip, okay, just to unravel certain things. Flip, which is PHYLPT, also stands for PHY stands for physical, L stands for literacy, P stands for program, and T stands for technology. But T is silent, so it is a tongue twister, which is Flip. We are also working on something. We should launch our product in the next 2-3 weeks. Look out for that product that's specifically for kids, where we are going to be doing talent identification using smartband and screen time, but we are going to be converting the non-productive screen time to to a productive screen time by using a lot of advanced, revolutionized tech and AI. Okay, so look out for that. Though I'm not supposed to speak about the product, but I would also like to take this forum and as a special appeal that we have these amazing panelists and athletes, Janani and Naren, who are looking for their sponsors, who are looking for the next individuals who can come forward to help them reach to the next level. You may reach them using their LinkedIn profiles, or you may reach us where we will be able to connect with them and help them and use this forum for taking them to the next level. On that notes, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us live on LinkedIn, Meta, YouTube. Thank you so much again, Janani, Sanam, Naren, Anuveer, and Rishabh sir, who could not join. So thank you so much, Rishabh sir, but we missed your thoughts and insights. And stay tuned for the next Saturday, where we will come up with the next Flipped Live broadcasts. And thank you so much again for everyone to joining in. See you around.